Volunteer Audio. Today we're going to be working on a Polaris RZR, and I wanted to go over some low-cost options to add audio on to your side-by-side. We're actually going to be discussing our WP series overheads from SSV Works. These are, we feel, one of the best audio systems you can get for the money. They're going to have complete waterproof enclosures, or either ABS injection molded plastic, as this one is for the RZR, or fiberglass in some other vehicles. It comes with four 6.5-inch waterproof speakers. These aren't little 2 or 3 inch speakers like come in most sound bars, so they're going to give you really good sound, good mid-bass compared to a sound bar. They have a waterproof radio that does AM, FM, and Bluetooth. It's got a nice white backlit display so you can see it in the sun, and also integrates a dome light into it. When you get an SSV Works overhead, you get speakers that are designed specifically for a side-by-side vehicle. Some of the other manufacturers of overheads are using very low-cost, automotive-grade car speakers. If you get them wet, they're just not going to last. A marine radio meant for a boat will not last in a side-by-side vehicle. So let's get to work on this RZR and see about assembling our brackets to our overhead, and we'll also show you how to mount it in the machine and how to wire it up. Alright, we're going to show you how to assemble your WP SSV Works RZR overhead system. So I think the guys at SSV Works have engineered an extremely heavy-duty overhead audio system. It's roto-molded plastic. That's a process where it actually flips around as they inject it with plastic. So all of the edges are really, really heavy built. And because of that, they give us a lifetime warranty against anything. You roll it and you mess this up, they're going to replace it for life. It also comes with very heavy-duty metal brackets, which we're going to show you how to install right now. So we've got 4 brackets to go on the perimeter. This is what we're going to actually bolt the brackets to that go around our roll cage. SSV Works sends you all of the bolts. They already have Loctite and washers for each one of them. So we're going to start all of those, get them tightened in here. This particular overhead will work on a 2-seat or 4-seat. It'll work on the 900, the XP900s, the 1000s, and turbo models. It will not fit a Turbo S cage, but fits pretty much all the rest of your 2- and 4-seat RZRs. Alright, so once you have all of your bolts finger started here, we're going to tighten them up, but not all the way, because these actually adjust in and out depending on the width of your cage. Now, SSV Works is going to send you full color instructions to walk you through each step. Very simple process. Alright, so earlier I talked about the ability to add on other speakers to this. While we've got it flipped down, I want to show you the harnesses on the back side. So we actually have a rear speaker connector. This could actually go to the rear cage pods. It could also go to front cage pods. We have our amplifier connection that would go out to our subwoofer. We have a power and ground connection. You're going to get a cable from SSV Works that plugs in here, and you just route it down and connect to your battery. If you're not adding on extra speakers, that's really the only step you have to do. Run this to the battery, connect it, and you've got a good radio that's playing. We also have an optional auxiliary input that you can buy that plugs into our last connector. So I've got all of these on. We've left them just loose enough that we can adjust them onto our cage. And I've got to now put each one of our these half circle, half moon brackets that are going to go on top of our cage. So again, hand start each one of these and then tighten them most of the way, but don't tighten them all the way up yet. Alright, so we have our 4 main brackets with these clamps that are going to go the top half of our clamp for our roll cage installed. I've left all of the bolts loose so we have plenty of adjustment. Once we get it set on top of our RZR and we've got it on the cage, then we'll bolt in our lower half that will sandwich onto the cage. Once we get those tight, then we'll adjust all the rest of this. So just leave it loose till that step. So now we're ready to put it on the machine. Alright, so we took our overhead, we've set it on top of the cage. It goes in through the top and we're resting on top of these side brackets. It's pretty simple from here. Our next step is we've got 4 more brackets that just go underneath the cage. This is going to sandwich it in really tight so there's no way for it to fall off. We've got 2 bolts on each one that we're going to hand tighten. Once we get all of them on, we're going to tighten up these. It's going to get our adjustment all set. We're going to tighten all the rest of the bolts that we've left loose. Then we'll just run power back to the battery and see what it sounds like. So we've got them all tight. As you see, that wasn't a hard process. Definitely use some form of power tool. They're all an 8mm bolt, but there's a bunch of them. But it's very, very solid now. It's part of the cage. So let's run some wire back, hook it to the battery, and listen to see what it turned out like. All right, so SSV Works is going to send you a harness to run from here down to your battery. It's simply going to plug into this connector, and then we're going to route it back. We're going to zip tie it to our cage and come down right by the rear seat, or if this was a two-seater, the driver's seat, and drop down under the battery. Now this particular RZR does not have a roof on it, but if you do have a factory roof or a cloth roof, they'll go right back on. This sets even with your roll bars, so you don't have to worry about having to buy a new roof. We're coming down the cage right beside the driver's seat. I normally remove a couple of these push clips just so I get access to run the wire under here and come out into our battery compartment. They're also going to supply us a fuse holder, which we'll see in a minute. We'll attach that to the wire before we connect to our battery. So we're just going to use a panel removal tool, pull a couple of these clips out. Now we've zip tied down the cage to this point, but once we get here, we can actually pull this out and get our wire ran in behind. Now sometimes I see people try to run this down the back of the cage. This cable's not quite long enough for that. This is a 4-seater, so it's just long enough to make it to the back battery if you run it the way you've seen here. If it's a 2-seater, you want to do the exact same thing because the battery is just right underneath your driver's seat at that point. So let's get a fuse holder. I'll put these clips back in. We'll get it connected to the battery and check out the unit while it's powered up. All right, so we've got our wire ran to our battery. Inside the box with the overhead, you're going to find that it comes with a fuse holder. We're going to connect this to our positive terminal. We're going to crimp that with a crimp tool. And also we have a ring terminal to go on our negative that's going to connect to the other side of the battery. So we're going to crimp that on. Again, there's a ring terminal here for the negative side. We also want to apply that. All right, so now I'm going to get a tool and we're going to connect it up to the battery. All right, so we've got our overhead installed. We've got it connected to our battery and we're powered up. As you see, it's just a beautiful unit. Very, very nice. 4 6.5s. Like we said before, completely waterproof, mud-proof. When you go to clean your machine, just pressure wash all of this. You're not going to hurt it at all. So as you see, we've got this great white background display. That way we can see it even when it's really bright outside. I'll go through some of the functions for you. So we've got our volume up and down. We've got play and pause. We've got track forward, track backwards. And mode's going to go between AM, FM, and Bluetooth. I think it's about time that we turn it on and let you hear what it sounds like. I think it sounds pretty awesome. If you had a 2-seater, this would be filling up your whole cabin. This is a 4-seater. I think we're going to do a later video where we show you how to add rear pods on so that we don't have to play it so loud in the front for the people in the back to hear it. So thanks for watching. Remember to like this video, share it with your friends, and follow us on YouTube for more videos on how to do different things to your side-by-sides, whether it be lights, audio, different accessories. We're going to make plenty of videos. So thanks for watching.